Michael Swickard here. Welcome to Enchanting Stories of New Mexico, sponsored by the Fresh Chili Company in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Our award-winning Hatch green and red chili is brought to you from locally owned farms in Hatch, New Mexico, the chili capital of the world. For those of us who work with green and red chili, this is the best time of the year. Why, Michael? Because we are in the harvest season for Hatch chili, and we are headed to the Hatch Chili Festival, which will be September 1st to the 3rd of this year. There is more fun than, it's more fun than anything else in southern New Mexico, and tasty. Red and green chili tasty. A little history. The first Hatch Chili Festival was in 1972, 51 years ago, and surprisingly, I remember it since, as a news person at the time, I was covering it. What do I remember? Well, not a great number of people, not that much, but I remember going there and seeing it, enthusiastic people and good friends. It was lots of fun and a nice drive and some good chili that I had. It was before the Hatch Chamber of Commerce got involved, so there were not that many chili enthusiasts. They had food that had been made and put on some sawhorse tables, and lots of people who knew each other stood around talking. It is odd that at that same year, 1972, I was at the first balloon fiesta in Albuquerque. That was in February of 72, but what I remember the most was the next year, the 73 Balloon Fiesta. Well, you see, they were doing their takeoff from the Albuquerque Fairgrounds, and the fairgrounds by Central Avenue was just a very short balloon flight to the south from the super secret stuff at Kirtland and Manzano Base. Well, you can tell what happened. They went up and they went south. The security forces were not impressed by the International Balloon Fiesta, and the takeoff area was moved far, far to the north and to the west in the valley, so that there was little chance of landing on the military base again. So the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta and the Hatch Chili Festival are both a treasure of New Mexico. Of the two, I've spent more of my time with various Hatch Valley chili festivals, and I may have had a balloon or two saying happy birthday, but every day in my house there's been Hatch chili. For much of the time over the years, it was frozen chili that I fire roasted and then put in my freezer, so that when the cold winds of winter blew, I could make green chili stew that would make my eyes water with delight. I enjoy the Fresh Chili Company's jars of chili so much. How much? I don't put up frozen chili any longer. I am happy with the jars, and especially this year with Veritol Reserve Big Jim 2023, which I have gotten and have used on an egg omelet one time and on hash browns. Both were great. I love Big Jim chili. I'll talk more on these podcasts about the Hatch Chili Festival, which starts 3 weeks from today. I'm looking forward to seeing friends and family along with this year. I understand we're going to have a very famous cowboy chef, Kent Rollins. He will be here doing what he does. You can see him on YouTube. It's very, very good entertainment. He makes some delicious things to eat, and he tells lots of stories that will make you laugh. Kent was born and raised on the banks of the Red River near Hollis, Oklahoma. Growing up and throughout his adulthood, Kent helped his father manage a cow-calf operation in the area while also taking care of their own herds. At the beginning of Kent's cooking career, because that's what he is now, he spent time with his uncle guiding and feeding hunters deep in the Gila wilderness of New Mexico. So he is tied to New Mexico. From that time, he bought a chuck wagon in 1993 and began cooking for ranches, and soon expanded into catering and then into television shows. And he is enjoyed by a vast number of people who watch his television shows and see him at festivals like he's going to be at the Hatch Chili Festival. You can see him on YouTube. Just look for Kent Rollins. I'll talk more about him and other attractions at this year's Hatch Chili Festival in coming podcasts. The Fresh Chili Company, including myself, will be there. Come by and take a look at some of our 2023 chili products. Tell us a few stories, and we'll tell you a few stories. Speaking about the weather, it has been warm, though it's getting a little bit better. The Hatch Valley farmers live a somewhat challenging life when it comes to weather. They had hailstorm a few weeks ago that did a little damage but didn't destroy the crops, since chili plants are resilient, but it did cause the chili plants that were started early and transplanted into the chili fields to mature sooner than expected. And that's not a bad thing. It just wasn't planned that way. By the chili maturing early, the chili farmers were able to start to harvest early, which is good. And there has been a little bit of the heat stress, but they're working through that. Now, good news, if you use the checkout code podcast15, you get 15% off your order this week. Speaking of good chili, this last week, the Fresh Chili Company is processing Sandia Select, which is a tasty hot green chili in a 16-ounce jar. There's a smile every time you open one of those jars, and I feel that about all the jars. When you want your food to be as hot as the weather, Sandia Select is a good choice. Michael Swickert here with Enchanting Stories of New Mexico, sponsored by the Fresh Chili Company in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Hit subscribe to automatically get these podcasts. Fishing in New Mexico, if you're thinking of doing that, if you'd like to try angling, anglers, the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish has an angler education fishing clinic that will offer basic fishing skill clinics to school kids, families, community, and civic groups. Go to the website for the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish to register for one of these clinics. Now, out-of-state anglers must purchase an annual fishing license, a one-day license, or a 5-day license. The fishing license in New Mexico that year is April 1st of one year to March 31st of the next. The license is not required for 11-year-olds and younger. You can get the license online instead of going somewhere. You can get it at the New Mexico Game and Fish website. Now, if you are 70 years of age or older, your fishing license is, are you ready for this? Free. If you have a fish for dinner and you use Fresh Chili Company products to enhance it, do this for me. Take a picture and post it and the recipe on the Fresh Chili Company's Facebook page. You could be famous. An interesting aspect of New Mexico was a discussion I had in the last week about New Mexico's mining heritage. 100 years ago, 120 years ago, 80 years ago, the way people made money concentrated on ranching, farming, railroads, and mining, with mining being the most volatile. There's vast areas of New Mexico focused on mining, such as gold mining in several of the areas like White Oaks up there by Carrizozo and the Black Range, including Hillsboro. Now, it's funny because Hillsboro was first Hills, then Borough, Hillsboro. The name was shortened in about 1880 to Hills, Boro, because they got tired of spelling all those other things. Silver mining in Silver City and Lawrenceburg was also a place where a lot of miners did prospecting to find the veins of this. A cornucopia of other metals such as copper, lead, silver, gold were found during these periods of time. And at the time, someone with plenty of desire to work hard could get a nice amount of money if they paid very close attention to what they were walking over and they worked hard. There's something you need to know about gold mining. There is lode gold, Lode, gold, and placer gold. What's the difference, Michael? Well, lode gold is what the prospectors find. They're walking along, they look down, they see it, they see a couple stones of gold, they hold it in their hands, and they say, gold. Placer, on the other hand, is if you take a ton of rocks, and there's some gold mixed in there, and you process it, you might get enough money to make a good stake in the placer mine. But lode gold is what most of the miners were concentrating on when they were individually trying to find gold and start a mine. Somewhat the same is true of other metals that are valuable enough to ship for money. That's where the railroads came in. The gold, silver, lead, copper, and other metals had to be sold to a smelter somewhere at the end of the railroad for the mining operation to be viable. And of course, the mined product is tied to the national, regional, or world price of these metals based upon the purity of the metal. And when there's a great deal of gold being mined and taken into the market, the per ounce price drops a little. When there's less, then it goes up. Oh, and one final condition, the change in the mines themselves. In White Oaks, after 20 years of mining the lode gold, the veins of the lode gold were exhausted. The mines moved to placer gold in the area, which is much harder to mine and not as profitable. At some point then, the value of the gold isn't enough to pay for the time and effort to mine it. Kind of like the oil wells over on the east side. When you've pumped out enough years of the oil and there isn't enough being pumped to pay the cost, then those oil wells are capped, or with the mines, the shaft is sealed. In the case of some of the mines that you see from Highway 70 going east from Las Cruces to St. Augustine Pass, looking a little to the south there, what happened to those mines is the natural water in the mines kept increasing, and the price of pumping the water out of the way became more than the metals themselves were worth. And so that's what happened to the mining in those areas. Some Chili news, both Big Jim and Select Sandia Select is roasted at this time in the 16-ounce jars. All chili peppers are not the same. Some have more or less heat, so I want to talk to you about onions. There are onions that are not as strong, not as pungent, and here in our area, these, what they call sweet onions, are for sale at the Fresh Chili Company. It's near the end of the season, so you got to get them quick. But they are used in the development of a new product that I am really fond of. It is Hatch sweet onion dressing, and it's great when I put it on mashed potatoes and also on steaks that I am grilling. Yes, it is. About 10% of the onions grown in our area are sweet in nature, meaning they're not as strong, which is what some people like. Some people like me. So if that sounds good, the Hatch sweet onion dressing, you should give it a try. Use the checkout code podcast15 to get 15% off your order this week. New Mex Sweet is the holding name for several of the onion varieties that have high productivity, low pungency, and this is important to the farmers, disease tolerant as compared to other onions. So that's what we have there when we have these onions. Now, they go clear back to the 1920s, teens and 20s, when Fabian Garcia started many of the programs for chili peppers, pecans, and onions, and also cotton. There are many competitors, and the onions are constantly being evaluated and adjustments made on them by all the researchers at New Mexico State University. Michael Swickert here with Enchanting Stories of New Mexico. One thing that happens when people live in Las Cruces or happen to be in our little slice of paradise, they can come by the Fresh Chili Company's gift shop at 1160 El Paseo Road, Suite D7A in Las Cruces. It is open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and I really like going there. Now, we have some new products. There is a local honey with Hatch red chili that is just absolutely great on biscuits. French fries are so much better with the Fresh Chili Company's Hatchup, which is ketchup with Hatch red chili. Come browse and see some of these things. I think you'll really like them. Again, from Monday to Saturday, the Fresh Chili Company's gift shop at 1160 El Paseo Road, Suite D7A in Las Cruces is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is Michael Swickert, Enchanting Stories of New Mexico, brought to you by the Fresh Chili Company. Thank you for your time today. We will always have lots of news and stories about New Mexico for you on these podcasts. If you have something or someone you'd like me to talk about, write to me, Michael at freshchilico.com. That's Michael at freshchilico.com. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, yes, and eat plenty of that good Hatch Valley chili. Like I always say, some chili's good, more is better. Bye for now.